Three Chinese astronauts are finally back on Earth, arriving more than a week late after a suspected piece of space debris cracked a window on their return capsule. While the astronauts are in good condition, this incident raising some bigger questions far beyond that particular mission itself. China's rapid expansion, its push for a lunar landing by 2030, and the risks posed by space debris all reshaping global competition and the rules that govern orbit. So let's welcome in Lincoln Hines to the show, assistant professor in Georgia Tech School of International Affairs, specializing in Chinese foreign policy, security, and really the politics of outer space. Thanks for the time. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, what a fascinating conversation. When we look at this moment, what does it tell us about the future of human spaceflight, maybe during an era of some congestion in outer space and certainly international competition?
Yes, that's precisely the challenge that we're facing today. You will often hear people in the space community referring to what they call the 3 Cs. And that is what they say, that the outer space domain is becoming more competitive, more contested, and more congested. So it's being more competitive. There's more countries that are competing in outer space. It's becoming more contested. There are countries that are seeking to interfere in other states' ability to use outer space. And it's becoming more congested with space debris. And this space debris can be very highly consequential for space operators. So to give an example, this most recent incident, it actually endangered the ability to successfully carry out this mission and return back to Earth. However, this is not the only incident that we've experienced with space debris, and it's likely that this problem is only going to get worse.
You know, I'm thinking about from my mom's filter, this morning in the kitchen, I'm like, be sure you clean up your mess. Who's actually responsible for cleaning up the space junk, for the debris left behind in orbit? Because it is like somebody's littering and we're not cleaning it up, and then it hits a spacecraft. And as more people end up in space, this will happen more. Who's responsible for cleaning up their mess?
Oh, well, this is a really difficult problem in international politics. First of all, I'll say, when you're wanting to actually go and remove a piece of junk, a piece of space debris from orbit, this is really difficult to do, and we can't quite do it right now. And part of the reason for that is that, we're talking about thousands of pieces that range from a lot of different sizes. Some of them might be the size of a fleck of paint. Some might be a defunct satellite in orbit. And these are traveling when you're in low Earth orbit, the one that we use mostly, that's closest to Earth. These are traveling at speeds of around 18,000 miles per hour. So technically, this is really difficult to do. Politically, this is also really difficult because if you have the ability to actually grab junk or debris in space, well, then you also have something that you could use to interfere with another state's satellites. So this is really complicated politically. Though, different countries, the United States has tried coming through with different guidelines for how to tell space operators to try to remove satellites before they become defunct. But again, there aren't good international guidelines for doing this.
Do you think guidelines like that will start to be part of the conversation? That would require cooperation between countries that are adversarial, China and the United States being a perfect example.
Yeah, so, this incident, fortunately, the Chinese taikonauts, China's equivalent of astronauts, made it home safely to Earth. But hopefully this is going to be a bit of a wake-up call. I'll note that, in 2007, China carried out an anti-satellite test, and this was the greatest debris-generating test in history, creating over 3,000 pieces of space debris. And some of that space debris even came within close proximity to the International Space Station. But since then, we've seen other incidents. India tested an anti-satellite weapon. Russia's tested an anti-satellite weapon. And so we have to get a lot of countries on board. And China is not the same country it was in 2007, especially in the space domain. China is far more advanced, far more dependent, and its capabilities, for instance, the possession of its own space station, mean that it has a lot more at stake. And so the hope is that of the dangers and the problems of this recent episode, that the silver lining might be that we might see a greater alignment of interest with China and the United States, the two largest stakeholders in the space domain. And hopefully down the line that will lead to something positive.
Yeah, we'll look for a silver lining where we can find it. Lincoln Hines, thank you so much. Fascinating conversation and more to come. Appreciate the time.